Hello everyone, welcome to my very first video. I'm super excited to share valuable tech content with you. So let's dive right in. What is clean architecture? Clean architecture is one of the most widely used architecture patterns. It design approach that organize a large application by dividing it into multiple layers arranged in a circular structure. Each layer has its own responsibility and depends only on the inner layer. One of the core principle of clean architecture is that it is domain centric. Domain. Everything starts with the domain. It contains the core entities and classes that represent the foundation of the business logic. Next, applications. The application layer sits above the domain layer. It is responsible for handling business logic and coordinating tasks. This layer depends on the domain layer. That means it can access and use domain entities to perform application specific operation. Another layer, API layer. The API layer sits on the top of application layer. It's responsible for handling external requests like HTTP calls and will depends on the application layer to execute business logic. Next, infrastructure. We have an infrastructure layer which handles things like database access. Like it can access the entities needed to scaffold the database. At the same time, the application layer depends on the infrastructure layer to perform operation like saving or retrieving data. So the domain layer is at the core of app architecture and it has no dependencies on any other layer. It's also known as onion architecture. So now you know the onion. So when I create a project using the clean architecture patterns, I usually start with an API project and then divide the code into multiple layers. So each layer is organized by its specific responsibilities, which helps me keep the application clean, maintainable, and easy to scan. So I will give you one example. API. The API layer is responsible for receiving requests from API endpoints and sending back responses. Application layer. Application layer is responsible for processing the business logic of the application. It depends on domain layer. The domain layer contains the core business entities and logic. So the application layer's job is to use the domain entity, interact with the database, process the business logic, and return the result to the API layer. Infrastructure layer handles the connection to the database and translate the code we write into SQL queries. So API does not have any dependencies on either the domain or the infrastructure project. That's all for this video on clean architecture. I hope you found it helpful and easy to understand. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you in the next video. That's all. That's all